Hey guys, it's time for another installment of the Kellerman vlog. Hopefully you know what this vlog is about if you're watching, but if you don't, let me give you a quick rundown. I reread the mystery novels written by author Jonathan Kellerman. It's something I do in my downtime to decompress and de-stress. I like just rereading the same books. And so, as with people who reread and rewatch, you get invested in the characters, you get invested in the plots, you have just a lot of things to say, you have questions you wish you could ask the author, and so that's what these vlogs are for. I'm hoping to discuss these books with other people that are as invested in them as I am. And what we have up now is Monster. Monster is one of my favorites. I think it belongs in the top 10 for sure, Kellerman books, maybe top 5, I don't know. I gotta work on a ranking. We'll do that in the future. After I've done a vlog for all the books in the series, we'll go back and we'll do some timelines and some rankings, and we'll do things like that. But it's definitely one of the better books. Again, these vlogs are for people that have read the books and want to talk about them with me. If you haven't, spoilers be ahead, but I'll give you a synopsis just in case you want to keep watching even if you haven't read the book. So, Claire Argent is murdered at the beginning of the book. She is a psychologist who works at a mental hospital that is specifically for people who have, murderers who are judged criminally insane. It's for people who have murdered, one person, two people, serial killers, their entire family, whatever. They're judged not sane to stand trial, and and they get sent to this mental hospital, which is called Starkweather. And so it's assumed that her murder must be connected to the hospital, because if you work with criminally insane murderers and then you're murdered, it seems like, a logical conclusion. But they claim that none of the men from Starkweather ever escape, and that they're medicated and they're well taken care of, and it's honestly safer there than a regular prison because of how restricted and regulated everything is. And they can't find any connection between her murder and the mental hospital other than that she worked there. And so that's basically the premise of the book, is trying to figure out why she was killed and try to tie it in. Also, so I should have said this at the top, the main characters in most of these Kellerman books are psychologist Alex Delaware and detective Milo Sturgis. And Alex is a child psychologist who also consults to the LAPD. His friend is LAPD detective Milo Sturgis, etc. So Milo has another case that has some similarities that doesn't appear to be connected at all. So now they have three seemingly unconnected things, which is the mental hospital and the two murders. And they're trying to piece everything together and figure out how it's connected, and therefore who the murderer is. And that's about all I can say without giving it away. Let's see if my notes take me into anything a little bit deeper into the plot. I can't figure out how to say more. I really like the plot development, but I can't figure out how to give it away without giving it away. So, this is one of my favorite Kellerman books, and it's because of how the story evolves. I said the same thing in my notes. I said I can't really say more without giving additional spoilers. Because, it starts out, like I said, and then they learn things that take you in just completely different directions, but none of it seems far-fetched. And, So, okay. The way it starts is weird. I don't need the book to start in the hospital and go back in time. I know that it's written that way to grab the reader, but I feel like it's unnecessary. You could just do away with the whole first chapter of the book. It's not necessary. And if you're reading it for the first time, feel free to start at the second chapter. This is another really thin example of how Milo got the case. It's another situation where he was given the case because the victim could be gay, but I think it was just because she didn't have a significant other. There was no reason to think that she was gay. It was really thin. And I don't know if it's thin on Kellerman's part, because he needed a reason for Milo to have the case, or if it's just that, I don't know. It bothers me a little. Okay, so is Starkweather, the mental hospital, and any of its backstory based on a real place? I tried to research all the state mental health hospitals in California. Most of them are decades older than Starkweather is supposed to be. a lot of them are over 100 years old, and then there's at least one that was built in the 2000s. Starkweather is allegedly built in, I think, the 80s, and I could not find any California State Hospital built after the 1950s but before the 1990s. So if it's based on a real place, I can't figure out which one. I always assume everything is based on a real place because the best fiction is based in reality. And the best writers who are great with things like imagery and characters, the way that Kellerman is, there's always something of a basis for it. You can't just pull it out of thin air and have it be that good. It's got to be based on something real. But how real is the question, you know? Okay. I talked in my last set of notes about different character archetypes. I've talked about how, ironically, how Claire Argent is similar to Hope Devane and Dr. Grace Blades. And then I think I talked about, I can't remember, but I've talked about a lot of them where Keller, Lucy and Helena and Tanya. In this case, Claire's ex-husband reminds me a lot of Julie's ex-husband in Cold Heart. Okay, so when Milo goes to the film studio equipment place, he references mag lights. And I wonder why. Because mag lights are flashlights. They have nothing to do with studio lighting. So, Milo references a major director and a well-known actor without naming them. Are we supposed to know who they are? Are they based on real people? Also, I really hate when Kellerman does that, you know. He named a famous director, but what doesn't tell us who the famous director is. I mean, I get that, like, for legal reasons, he probably can't. But either make up a fictional person or find a way to say, because it's annoying. Okay. In a previous book, the Beatty family is a mocking name given to sketches by an LAPD sketch artist. There's a sketch artist, I think his name was Harold Beatty, in Billy Straight. He works with Petra, that he would do sketches, and they would all look the same. So behind his back, the other detectives would call all his sketches the Beatty family. And in this book, the Beatty twins are victims. So is that a coincidence, or is that an Easter egg? I kind of want to feel like that's an Easter egg. Another Alex trope is going to the library and reading old newspapers. Oh, I talked about this in notes of a previous book. So I talked about how there's certain things that, like, when Alex solves the mystery, he always does these certain things. And if I were him, I would create a checklist in every case. This is what you need to do. Locate the victim and or offender's hometown. Read all the historic newspapers from that hometown. Locate any old ladies from said town, particularly former teachers. Bam, case solved. And in this case, not only does he read the old newspapers, but he finds Wanda Haltzer, who's not a former teacher, but close enough, same archetype. And that opens a lot of, I don't want to say doors, eyes, I guess. But that brings them that much closer to solving the case. Okay. So Dell's second wife is mentioned, and I've talked in previous vlogs and in previous notes about inconsistencies in Dell's marriage history. I need to create a timeline. Lastly, and I think this is my last note, what does Alex like on pizza? We know that when Milo orders pizza, he will literally put everything on it. There's been oysters and vegetables and pineapple and just every kind of protein, every kind of whatever. Maxine Driver, who's a character that is in future books, I believe she likes just plain mushrooms and cheese. But when Alex orders pizza, it never says what the toppings are. Or, for that matter, Robin. What does Alex like on pizza when he's not accommodating other people? And what does Robin like on pizza? These are the important questions that need to be answered. Okay, so again, this is one of my favorite books, and I hope that you enjoy it also. Let's see what we got coming up next. Oh, Dr. Death. So I've talked a lot about how this is the golden era of Kellerman. I feel like this era of Kellerman, I can't exactly be clear where it starts. Let me look at the list real quick and see if I can give an idea. So, maybe Time Bomb through A Cold Heart. Roughly 1990 through 2000, but it really goes to like 2002. So I guess maybe Private Eyes is where we start. I don't know where to start it. It starts somewhere after after Silent Partner for sure, and then ends at A Conspiracy Club is what I call the golden era of Kellerman. I'm not really sure where it starts. Let me just see. Bear with me. I want to see if I can find in my notes where I made the first reference to Golden Era of Kellerman and see if I've got like a definitive starting point that I can work with. It's one of the great things about computers is you can search. Let's see. It looks like the first time I referenced Golden Era of Kellerman is Monster, but that's what we're talking about now, isn't it? So that's not right. Let's find. Yeah, so maybe did I start it later in my mind? Did I start it at? I mean, I feel like the clinic definitely belongs there. This is something I'm going to have to work out, so I can't give you a definitive answer right now. The clinic belongs there. Bad Love belongs there. I feel like Private Eyes could belong there, or it could belong to like the first. It depends how much I segment it, because we got the initial few books, which are up to the Butcher's Theater, and then we have Silent Partner, and then at least until Self-Defense. Then we have The Web, which is the one that I hate. I feel like I must have referenced Golden Era of Kellerman in one of these before. If you watch these, see if you can find it. I thought I wrote it down, but maybe it was one of those things I referenced but didn't write down. So, okay, well, thanks for bearing with me. Let's see, did we talk about what we got up next? Let's talk about what we got up next. Dr. Death. Yes, we did talk about that. We did mention that Dr. Death is next. So, I hope that you guys have been enjoying these vlogs, and I look forward to discussing these books with you in the comments, in Facebook, and in future videos. Thanks for watching.